Hey trader, Steve Vetterl here, managing partner of FXES Trader. This is Monday, July 1st. Wanted to do a quick recording because I thought this is an awesome part that I can include in an educational series as we're doing for the continued learning of the footprint. So here we see the opening of the RTH session for the ES. This is the E-mini S&P 500 contract. And we had a pretty decent gap up open off of the Globex session. We started to see it rally late into Sunday night. Certainly a much bigger move into Monday morning, which is typical of the first day of the quarter. This being July 1st, third quarter. The movement up in the market and the subsequent reversal from a very important 1620 area, which is a bit past gap fill of a higher balance area. All the way to the 1850, which is one of the higher volume nodes of this whole movement. You can see in the footprint here, we had a pretty big move up, and we did a little bit of balancing. But this is the important number as far as this particular video and why I want to educate. We had an exhaustion move, or a short squeeze, if you will. Had a heck of a lot of sort of exhaustion buying here by the shorts. And typically when I see a zero by a large number, that is almost a great 100% example of exhaustion. It's a very good example of the end of a movement. I like to call it exhaustion, but not to say we certainly won't go back up and test it, but you can always, if you're going to take a short as we did in the room off of 1620, got a little bit of profit, maybe 4 points best if you got filled on the scales, which is a pretty nice trade. But I was actually looking for a lot more, which I do expect to come at some point later in the day, because what the profile is showing that, and I'm not going to back up the profile to show the footprint screen because I got everything perfectly centered for this video, but we built a P-shaped profile. So going forward here, you can see if one had taken the short and we scroll forward, notice how when we came back up to this area, we did not, we really had nothing go off. I mean, nothing on the offer, nothing on the bid. We reversed again. So, reversing down and moved here. And, if I continue to move forward, again, not much going off there, and certainly nothing going off there on the bid. So as we're moving forward, you can see where we went back up and tested again. Notice another zero by a larger number type of print in this particular box on the footprint chart. A real good place to have re-upped the short again. So, had a fair amount of on the offers up here, which was great. So this short's really paid off again if one had taken the second area for it. And, the 1616 really, as far as the bottom of the P-shaped profile, let me just drag that over because I kind of have to show you this, but you can see how we went from the beginning of the opening and we just built a P-shaped profile. That's where you have a lot of, typically anywhere between 4 to TPOs wide as far as the brackets that build out. A P-shaped profile is indicative of short squeezes off the open. Now, I'm not going to say that was the case today because there typically is a certain chunk of money that needs to be put to work, new fresh money, if you will, to global equity markets from 401ks and different types of funds that invest ETFs that balance up on the first day of the month or the quarter. So, I was expecting this movement. The fact that we have a ledge right here at 1616 and under, we really need to get under that ledge. There's also a single that had unconfirmed built there, which you can't see on the profile right here. But it's an important point that if we can break under this and find some, volume start to come in, as you will see on the footprint, we really could have a move down, what I like to call the zipper. Let me just back up to there. Move all the way back down the profile. I would expect 1610 area, which you can see a little better on a candle chart, as to be our first target. But ultimately, the target want to be somewhere in the 09 to the opening print area. This is the high of Globex. all the way to the opening print. So you got about a 2-point range that I would target. But oftentimes with a P or a B-shaped profile, if you go up in one tick or a couple ticks the top, and you really have nothing going off, which the footprint did show us, nothing really went off there as far as lifting offers up there. Just had an exhaustion move from probably a small short squeeze that took place. It continues to solidify the shorts at 1620. Now, as we're building, continued lower highs, good, but we'll also put a lot of volume in here. There's another chance that if we can't break under the 1616 level, that we're probably going to go back up and test the top again. So let me just jump back to the profile here. So a lot on Twitter were asking me today, why did I take this short? I said, well, if you look at the profile, the most powerful tool in trading in my opinion, you can see that we two-ticked the top and we had an exhaustion move in volume, thus leading to a decent 4-point retrace, where a lot of my indicators were showing to go long, and my this is my ultimate trading indicator. Let's see if we can squeeze it into the window here, but all of the pullbacks, my signals to go long, were all correct on. Unfortunately, I've been on the opposite side of the trade today because I wanted to see an outside in day. That's where you trade back in. Those are typically statistically lower in their significance because of the simple fact that it is the beginning of the month. But I'm still on high alert to take a short, as I've taken 2 shots at the 1620 area, and both have only paid 2 to 4 points, which is good, especially if you're trading large size, which I have not been today. So it paid okay, but I thought this was an excellent example to show as maybe just a quick hit video on the power of the footprint. As I often say, pay not much attention to all of the minutia that prints on this, but you do want to pay attention to a couple of hints as to a possible high being put in. So hope that helps. If you got any questions, as always, send an email to me, steve@fxestrader.com. Have a great day.